What's going on YouTube? This is Penguin Duelist bringing you a Nekroz deck profile. Now for those of you who already subscribed to my channel, you already know that for most of my deck profiles I am doing a not so much current follow to the ban list as of now. This particular profile for Nekroz is very close to the original build of Nekroz when they first came out back in February of 2015. The only difference is that there is no Djinn in here. I'm not doing the Djinn lock. I've already explained this in my previous video, explaining what this exactly is. For those of you who are new to the channel, first of all, welcome. Thanks for checking out my channel. If you're looking for a current build of Nekroz, first of all, good luck finding one because that deck is dead. And rest in pepperoni, Nekroz. But if you are still interested, continue watching, and if you want to get some more information on what this is exactly, check out the video link that I will put in the description below. In a nutshell, it's basically me taking the original Nekroz, or just original deck for any deck profile I do as of now for this channel, and kind of combined current cards or just my own personal build of it and play with friends. It's good for anyone out there who is kind of bored or thinks the format is dull and they just want to have something to play for fun. You can just build like original decks and kind of throw in current cards that are in the game now and just mix it up, make the game a little more exciting and fun for you and your friends. The only reason I don't run the Djinn lock is because it's just not fun. It's not fun to go up against one of your friends and just lock them out of the game every single time and just like have that be one of your main goals or your main game winning, like your ways to win the game. Like, it's just not fun. That's just my personal opinion. Some people may get satisfaction out of locking their friends out of the game and losing a friend over it. It's one of those things where it's just like one of the ways to lose a friend, you know, whether it's playing Mario Kart and using a blue shell on them or Djinn locking your opponent. It's pretty much the same thing. But anyway, back to the original point of this video. Let's just do the deck profile. So if you are familiar with Nekroz, this is all going to be pretty standard. So I'm going to try to not explain every single card. I may explain a card or two here or there, but pretty standard. So we got 3 Manju and 3 Senju. Everyone should know what this does. If you don't know what this does, go Google it. In a nutshell, the Stratos of all of the blue guys. And blue guys is spell cards for the ritual spell cards. Next, we're going to be doing the non-Nekroz monsters first. I run 2 Denko Senka. I love this card. It just wrecks anything that relies on setting back row. This is the deck's biggest problem, is the back row. The back row hate is strong. You have to protect yourself. This is the best way to protect yourself against back row. This deck is very fragile against back row, and against floodgate cards you need to get this out before your opponent activates those floodgates. If you guys are playing in the format of Nekroz at full power, everyone remembers Mistake being a big card, Shared Ride was annoying, Satellar Knights having their back row hate, just rogue decks being able to compete, those Senjus when they had triple vanities or Cleafords when they had vanities, just annoying, very, very annoying. This is the answer to those cards. Next up, this is more of a tech card. I run Phantom of Chaos. There was one person, I forget who his name was, but I believe he got first place at a YCS or a regional. I really don't remember, it was a while ago. But he was the person that showed this card in his deck profile, and it was I really liked it. And I think Patrick Hoban actually caught on to start using it, and it became more of a standard thing. So I guess I really can't really call it a tech card of mine because it became more well known once it started getting more in play. If you don't know what it does, basically, let me just read it to you. Any battle damage your opponent takes from battles involving this card becomes 0. Once per turn, you can target one effect monster in your graveyard, banish that target, then until the end phase, this card's name and attack becomes that monster's name and attack, and it gains that monster's effects. You must control its face-up card to activate and resolve this effect. So it's really good because you can it has a lot of flexibility with this card. You can really utilize it with a lot of things. Like, the deck is fragile against back row, and one way to get around that, not just with Denko Senka, is with a card like Herald of Arclight. Like, having this in your grave and banishing it to have this gain its effect is really good, It's basically a Solemn Judgment with feet, and it's really good to protect you for like a really powerful play or just a way for you to end the game right there, and you need protection for your play. So if you don't have Denko Senka and you have this, it's a really good way to push through with that kind of thing, just for protection. Having added protection is really good in this deck. Another cool little trick you can do is with, what's his name? Barboroid, this guy right here. Is a level 12. It's the only level 12 I have in the extra deck for the, what do you call that? Kaleidoscope plays of getting like Unicorn and Valkyries out. This is really good to have in the grave, and you banish it after you summon this, use its effect, banish this guy. He's a really good card. He basically, his effect is this card can attack twice during each battle phase. This card cannot attack your opponent directly. After damage calculation, if this card attacked an opponent's monster, negate the effects of that monster, including in the graveyard. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. So it's really, really, really good against Burning Abyss, for example, where if they have 2 Dantes out and you summon this bad boy and you just use its effect to banish Barboroid and you use its effect to swing at 2 Dantes and then inflict 2,000 damage to them because it's effect damage and not battle damage, so it gets over this guy's claws. You can also get over Dante's effect getting off by using the Barboroid effect, so it's really, really good. So that's it for that guy. That was a long explanation. I'll try to speed it up. So we're running 2 Shrits. Everyone knows what this guy does. He's the tribute fodder for all the ritual summons. Really good card, pretty standard. Also, rest in peace current ban list for this little guy, poor guy. I run 1 Dance Princess of the Nekroz. She's just good for protection. She's also good for tribute fodder. I've been up and down with this card. It's a personal preference on whether or not you want to run it. Some people ran it back in the day, some people didn't. Just depends. I like her late game if you really need to get back a banished Nekroz, but it's very rare that I use her, but she's there just in case I need her. Also searchable, so that's nice. Okay, we're going into the blue guys now. You run 3 Bryanak. Sorry Bryanak, I know you're at 1 right now, it's really sad. This was honestly like my favorite deck, one of my favorite decks like of all time. Like, I never really got a chance to play Rituals when I was younger because they always sucked. And I remember running Tunes in the Pegasus build when he had Relinquished. That was like the closest I got to Ritual summoning. But they're just really cool looking, the artwork's great, and it's really fun. And I was really excited when they first announced this deck, and I've always held it close to my heart. Like, I love this deck. This deck is just so fun. It's really technical. It takes a lot of skill and a lot of practice to get the hang of this deck and being able to learn all the ins and outs of it. I'm still learning it, but that's why I love it. It's just so fun to play. Now, if you're playing against someone who hates this deck, then it's not really fun for them, but I don't care because it's still really fun. So we're running 2 Nekroz of Colossalus. She searches for the spells and traps of Nekroz, although there's no traps for Nekroz as of now, and I don't know if there ever will be, but that's what she does. 2 is a good number. Next up, we run 3 Nekroz of Unicorn. Again, sorry buddy, I know you're at 1. Sucks, but great card. Being able to recycle stuff from your graveyard and getting that great first turn play where you just go Kaleidoscope, summon this guy, send Herald's effect, search for another blue guy or a ritual spell is just great. Also, being able to negate extra deck monster effects is really good, unless you're playing against Cleatforts and they Pendulum Summon. That really sucks. Next up, we got 2 Valkyries. Some people ran 3. I just like 2. I felt 2 was fine, but again, that's a personal preference. He's really good. I love his self-tributing effect. You don't even have to tribute himself, but you have that option. And also being able to end the battle phase is really good. There are ways for people to work around it, but nonetheless, it's still a great card. Next, I run just 1 Trishilla. I remember people going between 1 or 2, and I remember before they even came out, people were like, oh, you gotta run 3 of these, and like that never happened, like, ever. I feel like 1 is just a perfect number for this. Later on when they got hit, I think people ran 2, but I just stuck with 1. I think 1 is fine. It's a personal preference. And then next we got 1 Gungnir. I guess these are actually, just lays out. These are the 3 that I run 1 of. We got a Trishula, we have Decisive Armor, and Gungnir. You guys should know what these guys do. It's pretty standard. So much stuff has been hit in this deck. We run 3 Prep of Rites. Great, amazing, super fantastic card. There's so many things about this card. It's just so good. It's such a good card. No explanation needed. It's sad that it's at 1, but it's at 1. Next are the ritual spells. We run 2. This is pretty standard. 2 Kaleidoscope, 2 Mirror, and 2 Cycle. No explanation needed for that. Pretty straightforward, pretty standard. Let's get those out of the way. That's it for the Nekroz stuff. We still got a few spells left. We got 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. We've got 1 Rhoda. I run 1. I did have 2 before, but I just didn't really like it, seeing that there's only 4. There's only 4, yeah. There's only 2 Colossalists and 2 Shrit. So you could run 2, but again, it's personal preference. And then the MST is for Floodgates and just any problematic cards that you need to get over. Also, you can bluff it, but I mean, if you're playing against someone who knows Nekroz really well, they usually already know that you're not running traps, so it's kind of hard to bluff, but you never know. And then the 1-ofs, we have 1 Regeki and 1 Book of Moon. This is a good way to protect yourself, so it's good offense. Again, it's another way of setting a card down and being able to use it, or you can use it from the hand, obviously. So that's nice. And then Regeki is just a good way to clear the board and being able to OTK your opponent or just pushing for game. And the last card in the main deck is Aqua Mirror Cycle. Now, this card never saw any play in any form of this deck at all, whether it was the clown version of it before they got hit again, or the original build. Like, there really wasn't any variant of this deck that ran this card, and I understand why. This is definitely a tech card, but I love this card. And if you don't know what it does, it just says target 1 water monster you control and 2 water monsters in your graveyard. Shuffle the first target into the deck, and if you do, add the second targets to your hand. So it's a really good way of being able to protect yourself from something if someone's being targeted or someone's being attacked or just something's happening or being banished or whatever it is. It allows you to get that back in your deck and then get 2 resources from your graveyard back into your hand. So that's always nice, but it does suck that it's a trap card. If it was a quick play spell, I'd be very happy. Trap cards are always slow, but you know, what can you do? Okay, next up, we're going in the extra deck. So again, pretty standard stuff. We have 2 Heralds for our Kaleidoscope plays and searches once he's sent to the grave. Great card. Also good for the, what's his name? Phantom of Chaos, I believe his name was. So that's always nice. We have Underground Arachnid for Branac. Shooting Star Dragon for the level 10. Star Eater for 11. Quasar for 12. I actually said I only had 1 12, but I actually have 2. The Barbaroid and the Shooting Star. So I lied. And we got Lavalval Chain, rest in peace. We have Daigusto Emerald. These are both amazing, mandatory and Nekroz. If you are able to run this right now, everyone would. But when it was legal, everyone did. Same thing with this guy. He's legal still, but he's amazing card. Really good card. Sorry, Exciton, but still gonna run him. He's amazing. He's a great card. I personally do not understand why they banned this card, and you could shake your head at me and say I'm a fucking moron, but this card does not deserve to be banned. I know why he got banned. It's because of pendulums, and Konami wants to push pendulums, and he is the answer to pendulums. But it's sad. I miss him. You can argue with me all you want, but I miss that card. Daigusto, Cowboy, Dweller, Rhapsody, and Ragna's Zero. All standard stuff. Nothing really special there. So that is it, guys, for this deck profile. So thank you for tuning in and watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall catch you guys in the next video.